Test, 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 test. Okay, looks like we're coming through. Hello and good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Tonight we are doing something a little, a little bit different, a little bit tongue in cheek. So one of the YouTubers that I follow, both as a fan of games criticism and games conversation, as well as a game developer myself, as you know, is Jacob Geller. He, along with a couple of other YouTubers like Noah Caldwell Gervais and Jacob Anderson and stuff like that, have been very influential in helping me understand games better. And Jacob Geller recently did a video. I think the title was like, uh, I Am Jesus Christ and Other Games About Jews. And he also has another video called like Judaism and Whiteness and Wolfenstein. So he has made a lot of really interesting content about video games in general that's been very eye-opening and inspirational to me as a developer, but also specifically on the topic of religion. He's mentioned how, you know, religious ideas, religious characters, personages, and identity get represented in games, and it's not something that's talked about a whole lot. It's not something that is often brought to the forefront, so to speak. So, when you released a video recently about Jesus Christ, or specifically about this video game called I Am Jesus Christ, I was fascinated by the very concept of the game. I used to joke when playing Smite with friends that, I'm going to sound a little bit irreverent here, so just heads up, but that given that there were characters from a lot of other different mythologies represented, I was surprised and also not surprised that they didn't, you couldn't play as like the Buddha, or you couldn't play as, well, obviously there's different like bodhisattvas and Buddhas and stuff like that, but like you couldn't play as like Siddhartha or Juzo or Jesus, right? You couldn't play as anything in any of the members of the pantheons of like any characters from Abrahamic religions, basically. Now, obviously, being able to play as Muhammad would probably be a little too much for certain, for a variety of different reasons. But it kind of sucks that, given that Jesus himself is such an influential figure, regardless of what you believe about him or the historical accuracy of his existence or anything like that, it's still, interesting that we don't really get all that many depictions of him, of his life, in popular media outside of, okay, the Passion of the Christ was a thing, but it's not something I really hear people talking about that much anymore. And then we have, obviously like Christian programming specifically, but for something to kind of cross a little bit more over into the mainstream, this was interesting to me. And from the initial gameplay trailers and footage and stuff like that, I was kind of fascinated at the different reactions that people were having, with some people being like, "Oh my god, this is so stupid! Like, why are they, um, trying to gamify religion like this?" But people from the religious field also, some of them feeling like, "Oh, cool! Now we get to have a rendition of the life and times of Jesus in a way that will be more accessible and interactable, and maybe interactive, and maybe help people empathize with the story and understand it a little bit better from a different perspective." But also people within the religious community calling it heretical, calling it an example of something done in very bad faith, pun intended. And so basically, I'm genuinely interested. I just realized that the game audio stopped. I'm genuinely interested in trying to explore like what this is. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm a game developer, obviously, and I'm also an atheist. And there was a time in my life where I would have seen a game like this as an excuse or an opportunity to do the typical Reddit atheist thing of being like, ha ha ha, look at the Christians being stupid, look at how morally superior and intellectually superior I am, blah blah blah. I promise that that's not going to be the case here. Obviously, if I see some funny shit, I'm gonna laugh. But the point of this video is not to use it as an use it use it as an opportunity to mock or deride anybody, including the developers or anybody who believes something different from me. But it's more just like an opportunity to look at how, like, is it even possible to represent, to use the medium of video gaming to tell this story in any kind of a respectful or interesting way. Video games have had a stigma against them in terms of their storytelling ability for a lot of my career, although this has changed a lot over the past decade, but certainly when I was growing up and then, up until fairly recently, the idea of telling stories through games is still a relatively novel thing compared to literature and film even. And so I think it's still kind of finding its footing, and some people consider video games maybe to be an inelegant at best way of trying to tell stories like these. So I'm just genuinely fascinated. This is the launch date of the game. What better time to dive into it together and to just see what it has to offer, see what we can learn. I mean, like, to be honest, if the um if the stories in the Bible were rendered outside of a religious context, like if it was just rendered as like this is a cool fantasy novel with characters, check them out. You don't have to literally believe in this. There's no political implications or whatever. This is just a an adventure story. It would be pretty fucking cool, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff from what I've read of the Bible. There's a lot of interesting and inspirational passages, as well as some pretty dark, fantasy like revelations and stuff like that. That is genuinely interesting. So, can this game win me over? Can this game teach me something that I don't know and help me empathize with Bible characters to which I have been, or towards whom I should say, I've been rather adversarial in the past? Let's find out together. Hopefully, this seems fun. It's good to see you, Darth Magog. How have you been? Hope you've been doing well. Darth Magog says, "Oh, it's time. This is where the fun begins." Yes, I hope that this will be like genuinely fun for folks. I know it's accurate to say that I Am Jesus Christ does have a Jewish man as the main character, but it's still funny to think of him as a Jewish character, not a Christian one. Yes, that's a very good point. It is sort of an interesting divide, right? Because I in my experience, not that I have like a huge Christian like community where I live, but the way that I hear people talk about Jesus, they don't point out the fact that he was a Jew and the inherent like somewhat adversarial nature of the discourse between um I'm just realizing what a can of worms I opened up by even playing this game at all. But yeah, like, I mean, there are definitely people who, on the Christian side, who have been less friendly towards Jewish people, who seem to forget that their very like chief representative, so to speak, was Jewish himself. So it's an awkward situation to say the best. Um, Darth Mega says, I mean, religion is already pretty gamified. If you ask me, how so? How do you mean? I'd be curious to hear you elaborate on that if you like. Let me just grab a power cord for my mouse and make sure it doesn't run out, but we'll get started in just a second here. And it looks like there was a music loop playing, but I guess it just kind of stopped. While I'm locating my stuff, I do think that this game, I understand this game has come under a certain amount of scrutiny for its use of AI. So, of all of the things to rely on the use of artificial intelligence for, specifically within the realm of like, um, of voice acting or whatever, it is a little peculiar to me that this, of all things, should be one of the titles that is known for that. However, we'll take a look in a second at the credits page, and you'll notice that the development team is actually rather small. And I think the idea of, artificial intelligence that for game design specifically, the hope is that it will empower smaller devs with fewer resources to be able to have access to things like, approximately higher quality, like not full on professional, but approximately a professional voice acting in a way that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. So, we had a huge writer strike and Screen Actors Guild strike or SAG-AFTRA strike or whatever that was getting a lot of people worked up recently because actors are understandably rightly concerned about how AI might be affecting their livelihoods and their brand and just their overall like access to opportunities and stuff like that. And so I understand that there's a lot of tension. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I understand that there's a lot of tension around the use of AI voices in general, but despite the fact that I want, actors in my industry to be well taken care of and compensated, and just in general to be to not have their livelihoods compromised. And I will say for the record that I think the level of like anti-union disdain that was levied during the recent strikes was pretty reprehensible from my perspective, the actors overall had pretty reasonable requests, and I don't understand all the vitriol that was levied towards them. But that being said, you know, I think that if we set that aside, and if we were to just allow for the possibility that we could let actors that actors could receive fair compensation and be okay, not be threatened by the use of AI financially or otherwise, but that AI could still be used to beneficial means. I think one of the chief benefits is empowering smaller teams to do more advanced stuff with an overall higher quality bar, and voice acting is one of those realms in which AI can genuinely be very useful, whether for prototyping or for like full-on development. And let's just take a look at the credits page over here, right? Like, very, very small team, handful of people making this, so I don't imagine that they had a huge budget. They were using Unreal Engine, right? So they weren't building an engine from the ground up. So it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. But it's one of those things, just like the very premise of the game, where I think they'll be treading a very fine line between being perceived as ambitious or disrespectful. So we'll see. Anyway, oh, hey Chris, how's it going? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good week. Chris says, "What a what a title and a game choice. Didn't expect you to play it." Yeah, I was waffling a little bit about whether or not to try it because genuinely I'm not trying to start shit and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's such a fascinating thing, and to play something like this on the day of release, just to be aware of it and to participate in the discussion, just felt like something that would be unique, and so I wanted to give it a try. So with that being said, I think we're just gonna jump straight in. Probably gonna go for a couple hours tonight. Let's just see where the journey takes us. And keep an eye on the audio capture too. Nice that they're open to feedback. That's always a good sign. Hey, what's going on, Captain Cat? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. This is indeed going to be a stuff-related stream.
In the beginning was the Word.
And boost the audio a little.
God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made.
Does it sound like Morgan Freeman to anybody else?
In him was life. And that life was the light of all mankind.
Some beautiful
The light
imagery.
shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us.
That's kind of a cool little feature of the having the video rendered video projected onto the book, and you can see that it's kind of like tilted and folded onto the page. That's actually a pretty cool effect.
An angel of the Lord appeared and said,
Magog says it's the opening sequence is what you had in your JW creation legends. Oh my god. I hope this isn't too triggering for you in terms of like bring bad memories.
because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus.
I will say the subtitles aren't exactly spot on, but you know.
And she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them.
Yeah, some discrepancies between the text and the vocalization, which feels like quite an oversight when accuracy is something that's so important with the Bible passages and stuff.
Good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has
I think it's kind of a missed opportunity not to be able to experience this stuff in real time. But okay.
This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger.
Chris says, doubt you'll get any shit. We are in an era that religions are factions instead of religions. Most people do conversations for the fun of the game. Yeah, that makes sense.
Seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them.
Yeah, I think that's... I hope that winds up being the case, but I think you're probably right.
All who heard it were amazed.
Don't see a lot of crusaders nowadays. It's true. I think, well, I don't know. It depends on what, like, portion of the discourse that you're currently participating in, I suppose.
Unbeloved child of God Almighty, you must seek out a man by name of John the Baptist.
The voice is really unsettling.
In the neighboring area doing many baptismals daily. He shall serve as the starting point of your journey to bring hope life, and a new birth of the world and to man.
It's not a lot of Crusader music,
You
yeah.
alone are the hope of the world.
I'm honestly
A
like
soul
totally
light
removed from that scene,
must
so I don't know.
shine in the face of darkness. Now please seek out John the Baptist.
So I will say from a video game standpoint, it's I'm just kind of realizing like the inherent difficulty of doing something like this, right? So to me, as a video gamer who doesn't know all that much about the biblical stories, seeing a little angel like that was not particularly rendered with great graphics, that kind of had like a, let's just say, subpar or not industry standard like lighting effect behind it. The angel kind of looked a little bit goofy, and so what I would kind of like to see, what I'm hoping we see a little bit more of later, is like, regardless of my own cynicism or skepticism about religion, I would like to see the things that are considered to be epic in this story, that people find epic and inspiring and like, well, awe-inspiring and overwhelming. I want to feel empathy with that. So like if an angel shows up, I want it to feel like something, maybe this is crass to say, but out of like the end of Bayonetta, right? Like I want to feel like how awesome would it be to see like one of those quote unquote biblically accurate angels from myth, like when you see, or not from myth, I'm sorry, from memes is the word I was looking for. When you see those angels that are just like, arrays of eyes on rings with vast wings and everything, like I want to feel that same kind of awe and reverence. And I will say that so far, that little goofy angel was a little like kind of hurt my immersion. But I'm hoping that that was just like a limitation of the like initial part of the game. That being said, let's take a moment to appreciate the detail in the environment over here. We have a nice little bed. I would like to know actually like to what extent research was done into trying to get the scenery to be accurate. Like I'm guessing that they probably did some research into like, you know, things like whether or not these lanterns and these tools and stuff were period appropriate, which could be a useful learning tool. This is one of those things where I think like a developer commentary could actually be really useful, because if you're, excuse me, if you're just trying to learn more about the historicity of the stories, a good teaching tool would be to provide like commentary or tool tips on like, this is this particular kind of kiln that was used, and this is how they made this food, and this was their storage stuff. So I don't know, just give some credit
Jesus
for that.
wondered
Oh,
when his
hello.
father had last seen John the Baptist.
And yeah, it would be nice also. I'm gonna sound ignorant here. I don't know what language they would have been speaking at the time, but would it be Aramaic or some Latin or whatever? It would be kind of nice, like if they had done like a Kickstarter for a Kickstarter bonus to have included some original language. Like if you're gonna make this into a teaching tool, right? Like there is actually a lot of opportunity to get people interested in the subject and educate them, even if they're not Jesus fans IRL. I will say this is quite a lovely, countryside here. The lighting effects are really nice. The grass looks soft. The texture on the grass is really nice. So there's been some nice detail um, that's been put into actually constructing the world. I don't. I have this discussion with people a lot, is in terms of whether or not we should allow jumping in sections like this. Like if we are going for somewhat of a somber narrative, which we'll see if this holds up, I don't know if giving Jesus the ability to jump like this, because players are going to do this, right? They're just going to start spamming stuff, and so now we are, hello friends, we are creating an emergent narrative of Jesus that he jumped around like a jackrabbit, and so I don't know if that's like commensurate with the story that they want to tell. It's one of those things where sometimes taking away player agency, at least temporarily, Jesus can sprint, could potentially be a good thing. Let me catch up on chat though. I see some people have stopped by.
Are plentiful this year. The fishermen are very happy.
That's nice to know. Let's see. I see they're going with the Jesus is the literal Son of God continuity. Oh, is that not? I'm guessing that's not like the uh, is that like not the universal way that it's depicted? I kind of got the impression that Jesus was pretty
The
widely
market is
considered to be
especially busy this morning.
the literal Son of God. Is there more metaphor allowed for that interpretation? Let's see. Are you an atheist in the sense that you don't care at all, or atheist with a hobby of reading all religions? Yeah, so I do care very much about religion, or at least I used to be very passionate about it in general. It's clearly something that inspires and influences a lot of people. Uh, I think that it can have a lot of negative effects on people, to be honest, but I think that there's a lot of positive things that we can learn from religion. And having had people in my life who are deeply
Many
religious,
people have
I have,
attempted to write about things that have taken place among us.
one second.
Reports of these things were handed down to us. There were people who saw these things for themselves from the beginning. They saw them and then passed the word on. With this in mind, I myself have carefully looked into everything from the beginning. So I also decided to write down an orderly report of exactly what happened. I am doing this for you. I want you to know that the things you have been taught are true.
Yeah, the discrepancy between the voice and the fucking subtext is not ideal. But anyway, yeah, not to nitpick too much. Basically, I've had people in my life who have been deeply religious, and it has sometimes caused me concern based on the things that they've done or the things that have happened to them or whatnot. One example is there was somebody who was very close to who believed that she had been chosen by God for a specific mission. So when she had a good day, when things turned out for her, she thought that God was rewarding her. But then if she had a bad day, if something bad happened in her life, then she thought that was God punishing her. And the amount of like responsibility that she felt in having well, these are very nice. Look at that detail on the pottery over there. That she felt like if she failed at anything, she felt like she was disappointing the creator of the universe, and that was such a heavy burden to bear, right? People who genuinely believe in hell and have to grapple with the idea that like their loved ones, if they don't share their beliefs, are going to go to hell. I think that's a terrifying prospect. But also, I have to acknowledge that a lot of religious people that I know are kind and charitable and have a strong sense of community, and that community can be very healthy, genuinely. It can be a like a good support structure. Tradition means a lot to people. Ritual can be very helpful and very like centering and grounding for people. So there's a lot of important lessons that we can learn from what benefits religions
There will be a
do
good
provide to
harvest this
people.
year?
uh, but also, like, as an atheist, I have not been convinced that any of the religious claims I've heard have been true. And so, like, about the supernatural stuff at least. And so I think that those positive benefits unfortunately come at the cost of believing in untrue things or unverifiable things. And I think that cost is, like, in my opinion, not worth the exchange.
They judged her quickly, but none among them was without sin.
Interesting. Let me catch up on chat. I'm going to try not to just run around the same place for too long, but I want to stay plugged into chat as well. Hello, Barry Nice. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you as always. Third person would be kind of weird, though. Oh, it's got to be blasphemy to see Jesus in first person perspective. Well, I think that's kind of the promise of the game, right? Is, oh boy, is you want to like empathize directly with him and see him in first person. I will say the instant teleportation crouch mechanic. I don't know why we're gonna have like a stealth section. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, they're actually depicting the skin tone in a way that
We must be cautious when
I
interacting
think
with Roman
wasn't
officials.
depicted in promotional material this way. I think he was depicted as being more white, but we'll see how that holds up. Is it a sinful thought? In my religion, they were always asked to try and think like Jesus. Yeah, that seems to be right. Like empathizing directly with the inspirational figure. This has got to be an unwritten miracle. Well, see, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, if you try to use video games as a storytelling method, anything you do within the game becomes a part of the story that you're telling. So I genuinely wonder, like, it doesn't bother me at all, but how do Christians who feel very attached to the story feel about the fact that the game developers are letting Jesus
The prophet
stand in
spoke of
fire?
days like these, when the hearts of many would tremble.
Yeah, and the AI voices are not ideal, but okay. I think it would have been if you're going to use AI voices anyway, it would have been an excellent opportunity to try to, render the language as it would have been in the time. That would have been an interesting learning tool, very immersive. But so I think that's a missed opportunity. no one is supposed to be like Jesus where I'm from. They're supposed to just worship him. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I would I've heard people describe Jesus as like the perfect man. And therefore, women should this is rhetoric that I've heard. I don't agree with it, but like men should aspire to be like him and women should aspire like want to find men who are like him. Um and that's just sort of a refrain that I've heard many times. So I'm surprised at the lack of uh, encouraging people to empathize directly with him. Yeah, let's go exploring. I mean, obviously we can go do our quest, but I'm kind of curious to see what happens if we go out into the world. Um, let's see. Opposite here, try to be like Jesus, but don't worship him. Oh, interesting. That so you guys are like, there's like a whole spectrum of like a whole continuity there between how much you should emulate Jesus versus just like following his teachings. We get the Dark Souls style like new location found. Oh, okay, so we do have history and culture over here. Cool. Um Weird how he sacrifices himself to himself. Jesus is an avatar for God, not a descendant of God. Yeah, I think, well, it's kind of like I don't want to speak for other people's beliefs or whatever, but the idea of the Trinity, right, is that God is Jesus, but also Jesus is God's son. Like the God, the character like serves multiple purposes and multiple functions, and I think that that's vaguely analogous to stuff like in Greek mythology, you can have a given deity who has multiple like incarnations or manifestations that represent different things. Um, oh, it is like just an open world exploration thing. That's cool. Okay, so I'm genuinely curious to see how they handle like going off the beaten track. I actually think this is pretty fascinating because you figure that like I guess I kind of figured that this would be like an interactive storybook that would be very much on the rails. Um because if anybody is going to be calling this game blasphemous, it would be because of like inaccurate or unfaithful, pun intended, depictions of Jesus, and anything that represents a modification to the biblical story would potentially be, in conflict with God's word. So I'm genuinely shocked that they didn't just like not shocked isn't the right word, but I'm surprised. I think it's bold that they didn't just make like a wall around the city or like put some Roman guards or whatever, like some sort of artificial barrier that prevents you from leaving until you finish the quest. But we'll see how this goes. Um, but yeah, to kind of answer a previous question as well, like I do find religion fascinating as a concept, and I've was very interested for a long time in debating religious ideas. Um, it's obviously, I grew up in Italy for a good chunk of my childhood, and Italy being like a highly Catholic country, the traditions and the imagery and stuff that I grew up around were pretty compelling and pretty interesting, even though I didn't. Oh, so there is a. Oh no, it can still keep going. Even though I didn't agree with a lot of it, like you know, I can't believe it took me this long in my life to realize this, but the Duomo in Milan, where I lived, was the direct inspiration for the design of Anor Londo in Dark Souls. So, and I visited it a few years ago, and there's stuff in there like there was a martyr who apparently was skinned alive and is depicted as like standing there with all of his exposed muscles holding his own skin. If you play games like Blasphemous, they take imagery of that draws heavily from like Catholic. I'm gonna say mythology, not to be disrespectful, but just like the imagery of the biblically accurate angels. Wow, that's hard to say. That I mentioned before. Like, there's a lot of genuinely very creative and very like awe-inspiring conceptual stuff. That is both interesting from like a historical and storytelling perspective, as well as just like I don't know, man. Like some people really genuinely believe that they have a connection to the thing, the force, the intelligence, or whatever that created the universe. That to me is pretty fucking fascinating, and honestly, like a little bit. It's not disconcerting, but it can be. Oh wow, that's actually really cool. You can see the whole expanse of the desert there. Um, like it's weird, right? For me to be living with somebody who believes that like God is directly connected to them, and for me to not see that at all, and for as was the case in my previous partnership, and try to reconcile that and try to find common ground there. You know, like that is interesting to me. Um, how do people come to such wildly different views and interpretations of their life and of their connection to the universe? Yeah. So that's interesting. Like, in a way, I think they're kind of giving Jesus like more superpowers because I can do this, right? And I'm sure I won't take damage. Just kind of like turbo sliding down the hill, um, as well as being able to sprint indefinitely. I have a feeling that I might have just locked myself out of. Can I climb? No, I can't climb back up the mountain. So I might have just, you know, I am blasphemous by my own actions because I've gone off the beaten trail. But honestly, just as like a period appropriate exploration game, this has been kind of serene so far. I'm not upset about it. But yeah, if I don't find any waypoints or teleportation nodes or whatever pretty soon, I'm gonna go back to the to the fucking main plot, I guess. Bunny hopping Jesus over here, pick up some momentum. Probably just reset the game, yeah. Darth Magog says, well, I got like fire damage immunity as well, and instant stealth tactics. No fall damage canonically is the power of Jesus. Chris says, I honestly love religions. They're the oldest science and morality books, and they all strive to basically the same goal: follow for survival of humans. Like 99% is don't do stupid shit. Yeah, and it also like I think you can learn a lot. Kind of to riff on what you're saying, learn a lot about the values and the history and the context and the way that people see themselves through what they find reflected in the religions that inspire them. So, for my previous partner, as an example, like, yes, she did believe. What was that? She did believe in God literally, but she also, it was more about just connecting with her people and her ancestry and feeling like she was a part of something greater, as she described it. So, honestly, like, this is kind of, if there isn't already a game about like being stranded in the desert, could genuinely be like really compelling. Like, something about this vista feels kind of awe-inspiring as well. I'm impressed that unless you ran this far. Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised. It looks, if you look in the upper right hand corner too, it looks like I've gotten some followers or something. So the game is like apparently just me fucking off and like jumping through the desert has been inspirational to enough people that I'm you know, actually gaining some traction for that. But yeah, let's see. Wow, so the world itself is actually pretty massive. Um but I'm guessing like by the time you reach over here, there's probably going to be some things that that I wind up bumping into where I can't trespass. So let's go to the top of this, like just to give ourselves a self-imposed goal. Let's get to the top of this little sand dune over here, and then I'll probably teleport back and like get back on track. Oh, Darth Mako says, I wonder if this game lets you lose. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go.
Back, my son. Follow the designated path.
Okay, so there is actually some kind of gating.
Turn back, my son.
That was kind of a jump scare.
Follow the designated path. You must turn back.
Does this keep repeating,
son.
or do they have another
Follow the designated path.
way of teleporting you back? Yeah, okay, there we go. Alright, that makes sense. And that's one way to actually... I like... You know what? I have to give them credit. I like the fact that they didn't just put up like a stupid invisible wall or something, that they actually did try to make it appropriate to the story. Like, God himself is being like, this is not... You're not... Okay, let me just turn you around and get you back on track, right? At least they made it something that feels narratively appropriate. The dev should have made you move at only 10% speed in the sand. I think not to spoil anything, but I think I saw a clip in the trailer or whatever that apparently there is a sequence where you go to the desert, and it could indeed be something that comes up later. So we'll see. Maybe they just like don't activate the sand, like the fatigue meter, until later or something like that. Oh, I missed a message from you before, Chris. Chris said, "Guys, there's 1,000 interpretations. Even church by church, they change." Yeah, that seems right. I think you're right on. And then Darth Magog says, "Chris, maybe it's walk on water thing or a reference to him surviving the 40-day fast." Yeah, it could be. I think that there is a fasting section as well. I think it goes over a lot of that stuff. So we'll see. Hello, friend. We look so delightful.
Hello, Jesus.
Hi. Sorry, that was a little. You're just so. He popped up so cheerfully. Okay.
Hello, Jesus.
Oh, so they didn't actually voice, like, Jesus himself doesn't have a voice? That's interesting.
Lord be with you. I don't know where John is. But go, ask Mary. She may know more.
Like the little sound effect for the quest update.
Hello,
You know, I can't help feeling that, like, if you're gonna use AI, this might be one of the... This could have been a good opportunity to, like, talk to townsfolk and learn about what was happening in the historical period. Just, like, use AI to fill in the text and talk about it. Also, it's pretty... Oh, there's an unstuck thing. Okay. It's pretty dark as well. Let me see if I can just... Where is the brightness? Why am I not seeing this? Shading, reflection, shadow, visual effect. Everything's epic, of course. Is there not like a brightness setting? Mouse sensitivity. Oh, here we go. Brightness. Let's just put it up to 110, see how that goes. Okay. Is it a spoiler story? Well, I don't know. I still haven't actually read the Bible from cover to cover. Wow, that's an intense gaze there. Yeah, I still haven't, like, read it from cover to cover, so I don't know everything that happens. This is interesting. It looks like we're gonna have a curing the sick mechanic later on. I'm trying to not do my shitty game developer, like, QA tester thing where I'm like, oh, look, there's no collision here. They should have made this a physics asset so that it goes back and forth in the breeze. The sound of him hammering is, like, coming from too far away. They should have given him, like, a coughing sound or something. Like, my game dev brain is screaming, like, missed opportunity, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really the point, right? So, the fact, you know what? I was going to give this game a positive review, but the fact that you can't pet the cow, 0 out of 10. Seriously, that's an unforgivable sin. You put an animal in a game, if you're not fighting it, you got to be able to pet it. That's a new rule.
They dreamed of a river flowing from the temple, and all who drank were healed.
So I'm guessing that these are, like...
The truth walks among us, and yet many shut their hearts.
I'm guessing that these are, like, actual Bible quotes that they've woven into the AI dialogue. That's kind of interesting.
I heard there's a new rabbi teaching in the synagogue.
I'm kind of spamming the talk
We
button
should
to see if he
repair
says
the
anything
fence
else.
before the animals stray too far from the village.
See, I like that stuff, right? Because not everything that the actual characters of the time would have said would be like a literal fucking just a quote from the Bible verse, right? Like, they would talk like normal people of the time would talk. So it makes sense that they would have, like, just some random bullshit lines talking about their day, complaining about stuff. Oh, we got a soldier over here. Say hello. See how the... To the best of my recollection, this seems like a pretty accurate representation of the weaponry and the outfit and everything. So hello.
I warn you, don't cause trouble.
Okay.
Make way for the legionaries.
Alright, alright. I do like the fact that they have a little bit of,
What's in your bag?
I ain't got a bag. I like the fact that they have a little bit of, what the term for it is walla, like that sound in the background of, like, the murmuring, chattering voices and stuff. That's cool. Actually put in some sound design work.
You look tired. Clearly you need a new pillow.
Okay.
You look tired.
I like also, this kind of reminds me of Claire Obscure, like how the confirm button was like, we continue. They made the confirm button press space to confirm the answer. That seems appropriate. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Yeah, way better than an invisible wall. Overusing the AI voice probably makes it sound bad. Yeah, it does start to wear on you after a while. John making the last 10% of the game take 90% of the time. Small details kills releases on indies. Yeah, that is very true. I mean, like, that's the way that my brain is calibrated because I spent, like, the first couple years in the industry in QA, and so, like, I was what I was paid to do. I was paid to be a nitpicky asshole who just constantly scanned the game for problems, and that can be very helpful in my own work, but it can be abrasive if I apply it to other people's work as well.
In the market today.
It's not too bad. Come on.
Greetings. Special offer. 2 bowls for the price of 1. Don't miss out.
So this is something I would genuinely be interested in hearing, like, did I get stuck? Oh, I got stuck. Oh, there we go. Like a historian talk about, like, are the styles of clothing, are the outfits, are the hairstyles, you know, stuff like that, are these period accurate at all? Because this isn't just like bringing a quote-unquote myth to life, so to speak. It's also, you know, representing a period in history. I think it's important to try to get that accurate. Roman occupation unlocked. Checking codex, okay. Oh, here we go. During the time of Jesus, Judea was under Roman occupation following its annexation by the Roman Empire in 63 BC. The Romans exercised control through local rulers such as King Herod the Great and later his sons, but ultimate authority rested with Roman governors such as Pontius Pilate. The occupation brought heavy taxation and strict enforcement of Roman law, often causing resentment among the Jewish population. Tensions between the Romans and the Jewish people frequently flared up, leading to uprisings, which eventually culminated in the first Jewish-Roman War. See, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that there was a Jewish-Roman War, and I should have known about that, given that I grew up in Italy. But, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I learned something new. That's great. It's a little weird that they attached that to, that you just got that out of a fucking glowing shield. That does feel very video game-y, for lack of a better phrasing. But that's cool. You know, I like that this, the market does feel like a living place with its own, you know, a certain amount of detail was put into the props, the fruit and everything like that. That's pretty cool.
The weather is perfect for a walk today.
But yeah, the voices are kind of a big detraction. I think that development team is Polish, right? So it may be a case where it just, if I were to use Polish AI generated voiceover, I probably wouldn't be qualified. Like I wouldn't notice if things sounded out of place because my ears just aren't really trained to be very sensitive to like quality of Polish VO. So I think I would like extend the same courtesy the other way. But yeah, that's the thing. If you're only a dev team of like 3 or 4 people, then yeah, I think using AI for voices, like, it definitely does add a lot to at least have the characters saying something, right? Now that is a thing though, that I think if you're gonna put up like pop-ups for lore and backstory and stuff like that, being able to talk to this person.
Silent at times, but never absent.
She said something about the Sanhedrin. I don't know what that is, and that sounds really cool. And so I kind of wish we got like a little pop-up that said, hey, you can learn about this cool thing, right? I never heard of that before.
I saw a caravan passing through this morning.
He's so proud of himself. Okay, let's get back on track. Let's go see Mary. Actually, I am kind of curious. Do the guards do anything if you mess with them? No? Okay. I guess that makes sense. You know, this is probably... I don't know how this will be perceived, but I could kind of see this maybe working better as like a... Or like another way to try to tell the story could be through something like Assassin's Creed, where you get in the Animus and like the invisible walls are kind of handled by things like Jesus, like you're a descendant of Jesus and you're trying to connect with his story, and like if you do things that are outside of the path that he walked, then it reduces the sync between your character and Jesus himself, something like that. And that way that could allow for more complex interactions with soldiers, like bumping into them and stuff like that, while also not like giving, basically like they could use something like that as an excuse to let the player do whatever they want, and then be like, well, if it creates differences between, you know, the biblical story and the player's emergent narrative, we could just excuse that as like, well, this is just because the modern player is the modern character is out of sync with their ancestor in the Animus or whatever. They kind of do that sort of lampshading with, you know, oh, Altair didn't kill civilians, so you better quit that, right? Just warming up my feet over here. I think the guards are your last boss fight. That's true. It is kind of unfortunate that, like, they're throwing us into an unwinnable boss fight. Like, we already
How is
know.
your family doing these days?
Why didn't your lips move? Sorry, I'm gonna try not to be too petty. Yeah, sorry to spoil the final boss fight and also the outcome too. It's kind of like, well, I'm about to spoil a Halo game. It's kind of like Halo Reach, in a way.
Did you see the
Some
new
women
carpenter
returned
shop?
from the hills saying they saw angels.
I hope I get to see an angel. I definitely want more angel moments. Angels are cool, genuinely. But yeah, let me stop fucking around and actually get back on track over here. But you know, regardless like of what I might feel about the story behind it or anything else, I've come to a place in my life where I genuinely respect anybody who makes anything with any amount of like dedication, because it is so much harder to make something than to not make something. And you know, these folks apparently have been working on this game for at least 3 years. It's not something that just kind of comes together overnight. And despite some of the backlash that they received when they put out the trailers initially, like, they kept with it, they responded to feedback, so, you know, and they have brought a little world to life. And that's kind of interesting, right? Shouldn't just mock that if I disagree with it or whatever. Good chickens. Oh, hi.
What is it, my child?
Wait. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I got confused. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm on the right page now. Chris says it came out like 15 years ago. That's millennia ago. Can spoiler it by now. No, dude. I don't know. I was watching. I don't know if you guys watch Game Grumps at all, but I remember like, one of the dudes on Game Grumps spoiled something from Harry Potter like decades after the fact for the other one. Dan was really upset about it at the time. So ever since that, I'm like a little bit cautious. But yeah, I think it's probably fair to spoil the Bible at this point, and Halo Reach as well. It is really weird that he's not talking though, or that there's not some kind of a sound effect, because now, like, canonically or diegetically, Jesus is talking, but Mary's just kind of like staring at him awkwardly. It's weird vibes.
We have also been visited by angels throughout our lives. If the angel has spoken, you must follow. My heart has known this day would come.
Okay. Yeah, it's really weird. It just, if you're not gonna do the voiceover,
I
then
was at the market the other day, and I heard
just
the fruit stand seller Joachim talking to his
just like
friend
skip
about
skip
John
the dialogue,
Baptist.
right? Like in
It would be
Fallout or
best
something,
to start your search there.
or like skip the text to the next thing, if that makes sense, right? Okay. Let's see. I do want to see. Does this? Oh, copyrighted music. Okay. What copyrighted music are they playing?
Yes, my son.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see where this goes. Honestly, like, I kind of wish that I actually wouldn't mind just a game where you play from the perspective of some random, like, townsperson living. What the hell? What was that all about? Oh, there was some destruction? Something happened?
Stay out of trouble.
Oh, that's unfortunate. They put like a little sphere around.
Same day as always.
A marker around where I'm supposed to be. That's a little unfortunate.
This area is under Roman protection.
There's nothing to see here.
The weather is perfect for a walk today.
You look tired.
Maybe another time what happened
I'd rather
here.
not talk about it. I don't want the Romans to destroy my stall too.
But yeah, like, I like historical games. I like this period. I like this aesthetic. It's really cool. I wouldn't mind.
Caravan passing through this morning.
He's so proud of himself. I genuinely wouldn't mind just kind of like hanging out in this world and doing random shit, like Kingdom Come Deliverance style, right?
Greetings.
Let's see.
When I started setting up my goods, it was already like this. The Romans destroyed Joachim's stall. I don't know what he did wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly, like, I think this barrier over here is unnecessary. I'm wondering if it came out of, like, some play test or whatever. If you're gonna do something like this, I feel like maybe make it a little bit more mystical, like a little bit more whimsical. Just having this feel like a crime scene paint around it feels kind of immersion breaking. It is kind of interesting to see how it's like wrapping around the inside of the barrel there too, and kind of like going inside. I guess I would have expected this to just be like a sphere, you know, like a trigger volume or something, like a volume that gets placed in the world and it just draws the bounds of the volume. But it actually looks like the volume is rendering by overlapping everything that it's touching, but also going under it. That's really weird. I've never seen this. Like, this isn't a criticism, but I've just never known like debug draw stuff to work like that. I wonder like what material or whatever they're doing to make that happen.
I saw a caravan passing through this
God,
morning.
you and your fucking caravan, bro. Who asked? He's just so happy.
My spirit is weary, though my steps are steady.
I think the discrepancy in the accents is a little disconcerting as well, but whatever.
Roman occupation brings tension to our town.
Really just nitpicking. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? This guy?
We must be cautious when interacting with Roman officials.
Okay, well, let's see. So far, I'm not making a whole lot of progress. Who else can I talk to? See, I complain about the border or whatever, but at the same time, I'm completely failing to advance the quest.
Her quickly, but none among them was.
Hi.
Yes?
Look, this is devious little scamp.
Oh, it was terrible. The Romans came here and literally destroyed Joachim's stall.
Okay.
They wanted to punish him for his ties to John's disciples. Joachim got injured, but managed to escape towards the sheep pen. I haven't seen him since.
Okay.
The fig trees are bearing.
Well, let's go see. Here's the sheep pen. Oh boy. Okay, so here's what I was curious about. Like, how does the game incorporate the special powers that Jesus has? Does it feel empowering and compelling, or does it feel like very video gamey? We'll see. Divine Vision. With Divine Vision, you can uncover hidden clues and interactive objects to guide your journey. Using Divine Vision needs points of faith. So faith is like a resource that you can expend. Press L-Alt to use Divine Vision to find clues. Okay, so we do have like a little Witcher vision.
He knew this was where he had to look for answers.
Okay. Yeah, it's literally like a detective mode, like from Batman Arkham Asylum or whatever. I mean, honestly, the idea that Jesus could see things in the world that other people can't could be a pretty empowering device, I suppose. Be nice if this came along with like a sound effect or something, but let's see.
Jesus saw the blood and understood. It could only be Joachim's.
Follow the shimmering trails, manifestation of your divine intuition to reach your destination. Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with this. I do kind of wish that this was like a, you know, we were wandering around in the desert before, that there was like an option to rely on this sort of thing in order to, as like a get out of jail free card to like lead you back to the plot. Having to rely on it as like a, yeah, like the Witcher senses, like following the scent trail or whatever feels a little goofy, not gonna lie. Search the area with Divine Vision. Yeah, it's literally just like the Witcher following the blood trail to find the Striga or whatever. Okay, let's see. Did I lose a scent? There we go. Okay. Taking us on a nice little tour of the area. Man, this motherfucker really did a number. Okay, here we go.
Jesus.
I love how they
Who's
just
you?
pop up like that.
I'm relieved it's not the Romans.
Wait, is that a human voice actor?
The wound isn't serious. I'll manage.
Okay.
The Romans wanted to punish me for my ties with John's disciples. I escaped, but left my friend at the farm. Could you warn him? The Romans might go there.
That sounds like a much more human voice. Sometimes the text stalls and sometimes it
Thank
doesn't.
you, Jesus. John is somewhere along the Jordan River. His location changes often, though. My friend at farm should know more. He will guide you.
Okay.
This is the beginning of the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. Long ago, Isaiah the prophet wrote, I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way. A messenger is calling out in the desert. Prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight paths for him.
Yeah, they really need to get somebody to do QA on the subtitles because it's really distracting to be seeing something that's different. Because, you figure you want to tell the story accurately and all that. There's, I don't know. Oh, that would be kind of interesting, especially if they're using, like, AI for stuff. They could just have different Bible passages and then have an AI voice read them out. So, like, you could switch between, like, the King James and the, fucking NIV or whatever. So we do have a skill tree. Let's see. So yeah, if you get more followers, you can upgrade your abilities. We have a whole variety of different skills over here. Let's see. Complete entries in the codex. Let's accept some followers. Get the nice little choir over there. I don't think I got anything from that. Just did that unlock more followers? I'm not sure. Oh, there's an this is like Warhammer, where you can get like different apostles to assign to your like your empire, like your officers, to get different bonuses. That's kind of cool. Okay, so they put some thought into how to make the game mechanics compelling for what it is, history and culture. And they have the Bible verses. Okay, that makes sense too, right? Like, if you're going to be referencing specific things from the text, like, it makes sense to then provide a resource for people to go and look them up. So there's clearly been some thought put into this. It doesn't feel like some kind of a shitty cash grab or whatever. It feels like they're genuinely trying to bring something to life, Chris says, did they mix AI and human voice acting? Yeah, Joachim, I can never pronounce that right. Joachim sounded like that was a human being, and then the rest of the voices were AI. So that makes sense. Maybe they just didn't have the budget to give everybody a unique voice, but they tried to get in some human voices where they could. Let's see.
Can I help you?
Hi. You don't get your own name? Yeah, you know what? Like, it... I think I understand. If they want you to read something longer that Jesus was saying, then they should have...
Thank you for the warning. I will be cautious, as there are a lot of people who want him dead or believe that he is crazy.
It sounds like Anakin from the Anakin is has a doctorate in Darth Plagueis, the wise studies. It sounds like that voice.
Yes, I know him well. I've been following his work in the wilderness recently and was baptized by him myself. Are you seeking his location?
Yes. Yes. There we go.
You can head out of town to the east near the market and continue following down the path, and then enter the wooded area which leads to the Jordan River.
Okay.
You know what? I will help you get to John. Wait for me by the...
I really wish that we could just... See, this would be a good opportunity to give the player a choice whether to embark to take the cart or not, but I guess, like, if you're supposed to be following the script, so to speak, I love you. I love this. I love this creature.
The sun dipped.
I didn't press E, by the way.
Galilee, as Jesus left Nazareth, riding in a merchant's wagon toward the valley of the Jordan. The road lay quiet, as though it led not only across...
At least he's not like full-on blonde, blue-eyed, or, yeah, blonde, blue-eyed Jesus.
Well, we have arrived.
Hello.
John should be by the river.
Okay, thank you.
It's no problem. I didn't come here just for you. I brought crops to sell. Pilgrims get hungry too. Good luck.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do it for you, bitch. Like, I got my own business. You're just along for the ride. But this is kind of cool, though. Look, a little oasis in the desert. This is nice. How far away did it take us? Oh, okay. So, that makes sense. This probably would have taken us an hour to, like, walk here by ourselves. Now, did that unlock fast travel? Can we now, like, just donkey it up whenever we need to go back home? I guess not. Okay. Well, let's
Do
see.
you know where I can find some good pottery?
Literally anywhere. Literally just in any direction.
There's a wedding in the village this weekend.
So you have to admire that people finding like so much joy in the little things in this game.
Can I help you?
Oh, hi again. Okay, now I'm good.
The fields look lush after the recent
This guy looks like he's about to go murder someone. Like, someone is dying today.
Waters will break out in the wilderness and streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, and the thirsty ground springs of water.
I mean, the river's already here. I'm just saying. Okay, let's see where this goes. This has, you know, it has a very nostalgic feel to it. It's reminding me of stuff like, I don't know if you guys ever played Magic Carpet back in the DOS days, but like, I'm getting weird, like, Magic Carpet nostalgia vibes. Yeah, John Witcher over here, yep. Magic Jesus Witcher powers. I'll probably have to fight a demon at some point. Hello? Got nothing to say? Whoa, okay. That book is fucking possessed.
Good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness, preaching a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins.
Morrowind vibes is accurate, yes.
Clothing made of camel's hair with a leather belt around his
Commander
waist.
Fives calls blonde blue-eyed Jesus a white Jesus. Yeah, that's probably an accurate shorthand.
Went out to him. Confessing their sins, they were baptized by him in the Jordan River. And this was his message: I baptize you with water for repentance. But after me comes one who is more powerful than I, whose sandals
You gotta fight the book, yeah. Gotta grapple with incorrect phrases and rip the wrong ones out.
and fire.
Okay. What is that splashing? Is somebody drowning? Okay. Oh, yep, no, we're getting baptized. Did we win? Is that it? Oh, we fucking died. Okay. I didn't know that happened. Does Jesus literally fucking drown and then go to heaven? Days of Creation rings. Rotate the rings to match the shortened descriptions of the 7 days of creation starting from the center. Okay. Big missed opportunity here to not, like, let us, like, hear some cool... Oh, no, we do have some sounds. Okay. Can I just leave? Nope. Okay. This is cool. Check the Genesis 1-31 quote in the Codex. Okay. I'm not gonna read all this. This is worse than the fucking audio logs in every game ever. Okay. You guys are gonna have to help me out with this one. I think I can figure it out. Okay, so let's see. Day 1. Light. Oh, I see. Waters and sky. Okay, so no, I'm pretty sure day 1 is light, right? But there'd be light and there was light. That much I know. And then land animals and humans. No, rest is the last one. I know that much. Wow, it's so fickle. Okay, waters and sky. Waters and sky makes sense. Okay. So let's see. Must be land and vegetation, right? Or day 3. Well, yeah, land and vegetation would have to come before the horses. Okay. Land and vegetation. 4 would be... Oh no, shit, I did this wrong. Sun, moon, and stars would have to come first. Right, so light, sun, moon, and stars. No, wait. The water, I think the water came first. Waters and sky, then sun, moon, and stars, right? Okay. What the fuck? Oh, you only have a few different options. Really? Waters and sky. 4 is moon and stars. Okay. Shit, okay. They're making me read the fucking Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was on the surface of the deep. Okay. Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, that's fine. And so light first, and then day and night, right? Light. Well, so 2 should be day and night, right? You got your Bible here. Okay. God saw the light and saw that it was good. He divided the light from the dark. Okay. So day and night, that's how he's doing that. Okay. So second thing, let there be an expanse in the middle of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. God made the expanse and divided the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above. Okay, so the second thing is sky. All right. So day 1, waters and sky. Perfect. Okay. So day 3, God said, let the waters under the sky be gathered together to one place, and let the dry land appear, and so it was so. So the third one will be land and vegetation. The fourth will be sun, moon, and stars. So the fifth will be land animals and humans. The sixth will be sea creatures and birds. And the last one will be rest. No, okay, so we gotta do sea creatures and birds first, and then land and other things. There we go. Okay. See, now this is the thing. I'm going to remember this now. Every time I hear this Bible passage or come across this Bible passage, I'm going to remember this fucking minigame. Like, I just know it. So they have actually contributed to my to my biblical knowledge. They did. A video game actually got me reading the Bible. They succeeded. They got an atheist to read the Bible. They tricked me into reading the Bible. Well done, you guys. Hey, Zarya, it's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. How are things on your end? Thank you for the help in deciphering the riddle, Darth Magog. I appreciate it. Magog says, oh, this is how they're doing flashbacks. I think in some religions... Let me try that again. I think in some religions, Jesus gets his divine memories back with the revelation he gets at baptism. Oh, I see. So this is like knowledge that Jesus has, but he's sort of like recovering like fragments of his divine knowledge through these special moments in his life. Does that actually happen in the Bible? You got your Bible handy. Appreciate you coming prepared for the stream. Oh, you saw Mario Galaxy 4 times. How was it? I really like to go see it. My partner and I were talking about having like a little fun, low-key date night this weekend. Maybe we'll go check it out. 2 should be day and night, but it isn't, of course. Sea creatures, then people and animals. That makes sense, yeah. Glad everybody's come together over to share the good word this evening. Okay, so let's see. Oh, hey, Omni Bomni, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. How is your trip going? Faith is required to use abilities like divine vision. Remember not to let it be lost completely. The idea that they would even let you run out of faith as Jesus, if that doesn't come with like a mini game like in Prey where you have to go into the spirit realm and like fucking regain your faith, I'll be very disappointed. Okay. So, how do I pray? Apparently I'm praying. Oh no, wait a minute. So now I've activated divine vision and it's draining my faith. But now I ended it. Okay. And if I pray, do I get faith back? Okay. All right. That's kind of cute. I actually kind of like that, right? Because you're using it. I mean, narratively speaking, I don't love the fact that like you're consuming faith in order to use your resources, right? Because it doesn't make sense that Jesus would be losing faith to perform his miracles. If anything, that would gain him faith. But I do kind of like the fact that the game forces you to just chill for a second and be like, okay, I am now going to focus on like meditation almost as like a resource renewal type thing. That is pretty cool. I like the portal into the nether realm over here. So yeah, let's just go through and see what happens. A lot of missed opportunities in the sound design. I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie. Yeah, welcome, sorry. We are playing a video game called I Am Jesus Christ, about the story of, well, I'll let you guess.
With you I am well pleased.
This game just came out today. One of my favorite video game critics or analysts, Jacob Geller, was talking about it. So I had to check it out. Yeah, I wonder how much of the music we're not hearing because we're in streamer mode. It feels like that scene was probably carried by music. Sorry, my mouse is gonna spin for a second. I'm gonna unplug it. It's charged up now. Okay, yeah, so, hello, Omni. Omni says the trip is good. We've had a couple of Chinese people, the half Chinese guy I know is joining our trip for the last few days. Oh, that's cool. Are you guys still kind of getting recognized as celebrities on your trip? Or does that cool down a little bit? Ah, they do have an invisible wall here. They cheated a little bit over here. Oh, well. Yeah, let me go to my followers tab and see. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to unlock here. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay, I'm very confused about the follower mechanic. I like the idea of getting followers, but I don't really understand the benefit of getting them, because at the moment it seems like I passively get followers because you can see it in the upper right hand corner, but then I have to accept followers, but then when I accept them, that doesn't seem to change anything. So I don't know if these are like, do I have to unlock all these followers to then get a new ability? But this says I got like one of two things. This says I have 5 of 7 things. Okay, I'm not sure. I hope it's like Morrowind, where like if I run around enough, I get faster. You know, like your athletic skill goes up. Yeah, this is gonna be this is going to be. We'll see how the stream does. So far, it seems like it's pretty fun.
I saw the Spirit come down from heaven like a dove and stay on you.
Is that how doves work? Father has revealed what was prepared, not for me alone, but for those who watch and listen. Oh, wait, that's why they didn't do the voice acting, because they want us to read it. They want us to embody Jesus, of course.
People to repent. Now I know that the one they were waiting for stands before me.
Okay. Your testimony was necessary. Your testimony was necessary. The hearts of men have been prepared.
Rabbi, forgive me for interrupting your conversation. Where did you stay during the time of the baptism?
Okay. Not far from here, in a small oasis close to the river. Okay, I'm lost. Wait a minute.
May John and I go there with you now and see?
Sure.
Before you go, I want you to know that many come to me with questions. Allow me now to ask you one thing. What do you intend to do next?
Preparing to return to Nazareth.
You are returning to Galilee?
No, Nazareth. There are people there whom I know. There they will listen.
Listen to what?
Who the... The word the Father
This
gives.
is noble, Jesus.
What the fuck?
The people
Oh, they just gave him like the wrong subtitles? Okay. I thought they said if they listen they will die, which is like literally the opposite of what it says.
Since our paths part here, I will testify about the one who comes after me. Let everyone know whom Father has sent.
Okay.
Go with God's blessing, Jesus. May he guide you on your way and in your teaching. Peace be with you, Jesus.
I'm a little confused. One second.
Yes, Rabbi?
He's referring to me as a rabbi? Was Jesus a rabbi? Oh, whoops. Sorry. So wait, that's John.
God's blessing.
Hang on a second. This is John the Baptist, and then this is just another guy called John. Okay. That's why I was confused. A lot of Johns. Hello, Andrew. Following a man you hardly know.
We want to understand more. We believe you have answers.
Okay. Appreciate your faith there. Stay near and you will see even greater things than these. So I'm... What? Jeez, hi. I'm a little confused. I don't fully understand the context of what happened there. Maybe it was because I was being a dork and, like, talking over everything. But, like... So I went into the water... And then I got baptized, and when I was baptized, I had a vision. That vision led to me remembering the ways in which God created the earth. Or sorry, like the story of Genesis.
Be cautious when interacting with Roman officials.
I'm worried about you, man. I do not feel safe around you. So like we remembered the story of Yeah, there are too many Johns. There's an abundance of Johns. Oh, hey, Lawrence Bembo. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. I hope you're doing well. Lawrence says, Jesus was a rabbi, lineage of Jewish. Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought, I guess I just sort of intuitively thought that rabbi was like a specific role. Like you had to kind of earn the title, so to speak. But is rabbi just more of a general term for like a Jewish religious teacher, so to speak? Lawrence says, or specifically Pharisees, Sadducees, am I saying that right? And teachers of the law, Zionists. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's making more sense. Thank you. I do appreciate the clarification. There's a lot that I still have to learn about this. Yeah, so Jesus had a revelation, I think, and he was reminded of, well, apparently he got some of his faith back, and he was reminded of the story of his people, and I guess what I'm not clear on is like why the other people found that inspiring. Like, why are other people? Did that look divine to the people around him? Well, they're following me now. Okay, so I do literally have followers now.
Rabbi?
Yeah, I'm just a little uncertain. I think there's a little bit of backstory that I'm not.
I don't trust men who whisper when the elders speak aloud.
Sorry, jeez, the judgmental glare. Yeah, I think it might have been interesting to start the story a little earlier, but I'm guessing that
think of it as just an ordinary sign.
that the Bible stories maybe work that way too, right? I'm guessing they kind of like jump into things
Some
pretty
women
quickly.
returned from the hills saying they saw angels.
All right. Let's see. Everyone is John, even John. Yeah, we heard you like John, so we put some John in your John, so you can John while you John. Omnibomni says, oh wait, hang on. Sorry, says this feels like a horrible time to have a Carrie Happy. No, it's perfect. Perfect timing. Omni says, I think the celebrity was kind of, a vibe that grabbed the people there, so that's why everyone was waving, saying hello, and taking pictures, but we did, give a small child a high five, which he, in excitement, told his dad immediately. Oh, that's really cute. I'm really glad. Jesus is canonically a rabbi as well. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for the clarification there. There's John the Baptist and John the Disciple. Okay, that makes sense. It would have been nice, I think, if the game had included that subtitle distinction. I'm guessing, yeah, that would have helped people like me who are less informed. Also, I wouldn't mind a couple of lines, like if I'm praying, like one of the NPCs will go like, oh, look at him, he's being holy. Like the little Skyrim lines that you get when you come into town with like a spell equipped, and they're like, spell looks dangerous, sheath that weapon. I wish we kind of had some more reactivity from the NPCs, but that's okay. Limitations of the budget, I understand. The disciple is supposed to have written one of the evangeliums. I'm embarrassed to admit that the only context in which I know Evangelion is specifically like the nerdy anime context. Be curious to learn more about that though. Darth Mako says, oh, the bit where he has the revelation to the other characters looks like the Holy Spirit came upon him like a dove. Oh, that's what he was saying about the dove. Okay, gotcha. So, So it's like they kind of saw a flash of light or something like that. They saw something that appeared to be like a supernatural visual event where they perceive the Holy Spirit kind of descending and like touching him or like alighting upon him like a dove. Okay, I think I understand now. See, this is actually helpful. Like having the visual references and having the Bible story like illustrated in a way that feels like a little bit of a simulation. This does actually give me context into how people envision the story. So I think that there is value potentially in this game as like an educational tool. Lawrence Bembo said, because formerly God was only for the Israelites, they will be inherited the promised land, but Jesus received a revelation. Oh, that makes sense, right? And then like that's part of Jesus's mission or incentive to then spread the word to others, as opposed to just having the religion be like a uniquely Jewish thing. Omni says it's because John the Baptist recognizes you as a... Excuse me, I'm speaking here. Thank you. Appreciate you staying out of my personal space. It's because John the Baptist recognizes you as the Messiah. John the Baptist is already an established figure by this point, whose role is to pave some of the way for Jesus. It's one of the earliest stories in the chronology of Jesus, so that's why it's starting here. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense then. Yeah, I think just a little bit more backstory, like getting a chance to embody Jesus before he became the Messiah, like might have been nice, but that's cool. This will be the place to rest for the day. Is there going to be like a camp mechanic like in Clair Obscure? That'd be cool. It's humble, but it will be enough to prepare for the journey ahead. Okay.
Not quite what we imagined, but I suppose there's no need for more.
Oh, gee, sorry. I'm sorry we didn't, like post up at a chalet for the evening. Okay. Set apart. A peace is often found in simple places. When the time comes, you may see why this rest is precious. That's fair. Oh, cool. Magic bread.
In this way, John the Baptist baptized Jesus in the waters of the Jordan and set in motion events no one had dared to imagine. Neither John nor his 2 disciples could have foreseen what that night would come to mean, sharing the wilderness with a man who, only later, would be known as their Redeemer. Yet before all else, Jesus turned his steps toward Galilee.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Do you know where I can find some good pottery?
I think you guys are gonna have to help each other out away from me. I don't think I can be of any assistance in this matter. Let's see.
Rabbi.
Hi, good morning.
We were here with John the Baptist. We listened to him for a long time.
He who cries out in the wilderness does not cry in vain. Okay.
He taught us how to prepare, how to wait.
Those who learn to wait learn to listen. Okay, all right. Sorry, I come in with in the waters of the Jordan. It. Damn. Okay.
Of your sandals, and we do not even know how we should stand before you.
Okay, be humble, Jesus. Take the compliment. Don't let it go to your head. Every disciple begins with the one who sent him. Mm-hmm.
But we would like to...
Do not be afraid to finish your thoughts.
I dare not ask. But if one day you allow it, we would like to see you again.
There's the Book of Judas if you want some DLC content. Hell yeah, I want some DLC content. I want the full experience. Omnibomni says it's because... Oh, it's one of the earliest stories in the chronology of Jesus. That's why it's starting here. Okay, that makes sense. He was always the Messiah. He didn't become it. I'm not sure what stories you would want before this. I think the only things that happened before was when he was born, a single story from his childhood. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting the impression of. I haven't actually read the full New Testament, so I would need to do that and gain some context. But I wish we knew more about his life leading up to the events that get out of the way. Jeez, so rude. And I think that was something that Jacob Geller was saying too, is that we don't actually know that much about Jesus the man, just in terms of his overall like upbringing and life before the events that were more significant to the story, right? Yeah, GOD DLC. I'm in the market for some GOD DLC. Omnibomni says that one is not recognized as canonic, very inconsistent with the rest. Cool reference, Magog. I want to read that someday. Yeah, that would be, I think, honestly, like, having the opportunity to bring in other parts of the stories that are lesser known and share them with people, that could be an advantage of this game as like a teaching platform. Magog says, I think they call it apocryphal, but I think DLC is more accurate, like the Book of Mormon. Oh yeah, the Book of Mormon is like an expansion pack to the Bible. We have some backstory that is mentioned here and there, but yeah, not much. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
I seek the truth.
And I away.
Now, Jesus is the truth and the way, so you guys are in luck. The truth leads and the way is revealed. The time will come.
But, Rabbi, are you leaving us? What should we do?
The Jordan is pretty cool. Go check that out. John, the one who sent you, will meet again soon.
But how will we know when that happens?
You will know. He who seeks the truth will not be overlooked. Okay. Jesus seems pretty friendly.
Did you manage to find John the Baptist?
Literally, just look like 2 feet away from me.
Would you like to return to Nazareth with me?
No, thank you. Thank you, but that is not what is expected of me. All right, good luck. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those things where, like, oh, he's not here anymore. He's down by the river. Okay, sorry. I thought I'm getting all my Johns mixed up. Too many goddamn Johns. But yeah, this is one of those things where, like, you have to be really careful about, like, the constraints of the game design, because they could very easily wind up being at odds with the story that you're trying to tell. I do like this environment. I wish there were...
My daughter was sent away to marry a man she had never seen.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They argue in the square again, this time about taxes.
lack of water splash is hurting me physically. That's okay. What, you know, again, like these are, I do like the lighting. The lighting coming through the trees here is really good. I think that's probably like a basic Unreal feature, but it still looks nice. They took the time to implement it correctly. Little details like correct footsteps playing on sand and stuff. You know, footstep sounds. Footstep sounds are one of those things in video games that's like you never really think about them, and you shouldn't, right? Like if they're implemented well, you should never have to think about them. But they can be really complicated and take a long time to put together. I'm working on a project right now where like months of my time on the project has literally just been setting up sounds for impacts and collisions. So like we might have like 50 different physics enabled objects like oh, look at the sand, the little billowing dust on the sand. That's a nice detail. Stuff like, you know, a can being dropped on the ground. That might seem simple, but you know, we have like 20 different things like glass and rubber and stone and water, like 20 different surfaces, and we have 50 different fucking things that we can drop on those surfaces at different velocities. They can roll, they can slide, etc. And like it's one of those things where if it doesn't work, you immediately notice it, but if it does work, you shouldn't ever notice it. And so it's sort of a thankless task, and it's simple, but it like it takes so fucking long because there's so many different variables and variations of everything.
It is time for you to prepare for your divine purpose. Follow the spirit into the wilderness. The road
is kind of
ahead
creepy.
is one of trials and reflection. Venture into the wilderness, for it is there that the spirit will strengthen you. To fulfill your divine purpose, you must first embrace the solitude of the wilderness. Follow me into the desolate places where your faith will be tested.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. It's actually like a little... Oh, this reminds me of the... This is probably sacrilegious of me to say, but first of all, I just noticed that like my maximum like prayer amount went up. And then also, oh, that's a cool visual effect. It's like shining on the water. That's cool. It does... Whatever this thing is, it looks like it's simultaneously right in front of me and far away, which is a really neat effect. But it's reminding me of the Gerudo Desert in Ocarina of Time, where you have to, you know, follow the thing through the desert. That's kind of cool. So Ocarina of Time is biblical canon confirmed. That's what this game is teaching us. Let's see. Omni says, until a council in Rome established more concretely what the canon is around the 4th century. Oh, okay, yeah. I think I know what you're referring to. Yeah. There's is there like another book that's like the Book of Simon or something that has been that am I making that up? I feel like I heard some debate around like a couple of books that were recently rediscovered and people were discussing, like debating whether or not to include them in canon.
Tested and strengthened for the path ahead.
Sorry, says I must go again, unfortunately, because I'm leaving with the family to see Mario one last time. Yeah, I mean, I'm no, I was gonna say I'm disappointed that you haven't already seen it 5 times, but no, go for it. I hope that you have a good time, that you enjoy it again. I'd be curious to, don't spoil it for me yet because I want to see it myself, but I'd be curious if you wind up picking up on more like little Easter eggs and stuff like that, like hidden hidden Easter eggs on subsequent watchings of the movie. But have fun. Hope you have a good time with your travels. Thank you, as always, for stopping by. Hope everything is going as well as can be, considering everything. Let's see. John the Baptista, the water guy who loses his head. John the Apostle, writer guy from the Gospels and Revelation. John the Maven, streamer guy who develops games. That's the John guide. Yes. I expect if developers, if you do wind up watching this, I expect to be included in the canon. It's I want my name listed with all the other Johns. Please and thank you. Darth Megax says, enjoy Mario. Yeah. That's really nice. I hope you have a good time. I am also a little bit surprised that they didn't put some sound design on the voice of God, the Holy Spirit or whatever. It feels like this thing...
Each challenge will reveal the depth
yeah,
of
like
your
the
faith
voice should have
and
something,
draw you
some processing to
closer
it,
the
sound
will
like
of the
divine.
Father. You will find the strength needed to fulfill your divine calling.
Did this happen in the Bible? Did he go out and like test himself in the wilderness? This feels like a very sort of like Siddhartha thing to do. Yeah, I love those little ripples in the sand. I was on the beach a little while ago recently, and there was a similar effect that I saw. It's just really mesmerizing to watch for a long time. Or I don't know why I said for a long time, but like just watching it in and of itself was cool. I like that they applied like a little heat effect. I have not heard of a Book of Simon, but anything that is discovered in modern times should not be included. They are interesting if you want to gain a greater understanding. Oh, interesting. So, if they, hmm. So, would you say that there's no circumstance under which that an ancient text could be unearthed and we could be like, there's evidence that this was supposed to be included in the Bible and then it got left out by mistake and we should reincorporate it? Um, do you think that that's not something that you would accept? Just kind of curious. Literally the first thing he did after getting baptized, right? So he was sick and tired of water, so he tried to get as far away from water as possible. Went straight into the desert. No, that's cool. I didn't know that. Here we go.
Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, left the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil.
That's literally Gaunter O'Dim. Yeah, it's Master Mirror. This is canonically a Witcher game as far as I'm concerned. It's made by a Polish development studio. It's got Witcher vision. And now they got Gaunter in it. Samaria. Yeah, I mean, like, this is really cool, being like stranded in the desert in a dust storm and having to find shelter. This is cool. I didn't know that this is what Jesus went through in the story, so, you know. Hang on a second. Is there a way to disable mouse sensitivity, always run, red subtitles, graphics? So, I will say that this is potentially an instance where game design is interfering with the storytelling. So, to me, having this stupid like yellow dot in the middle of the screen is getting in the way of what should feel like an adventure in faith, right? Like I recently just or like trusting in faith, trusting in the divine word or something like that. Like I recently played Silent Hill F, and there's a really striking and memorable sequence from that game where you're in this field surrounded by mists with these like, I don't know, mannequins that try to kill you, and you have to try and solve these puzzles, and if you fail, if you sprint through the mists, you wind up just kind of getting reset, kind of like Lost Woods style, and getting sent back to where you were before. You're stepping outside the quest zone, leaving it will lower your faith, and if your faith drops to zero, you'll be returned. Oh, okay, so they're introducing like a faith thing here.
You must turn back.
It's depleting my faith even while I'm praying.
Follow the designated
Okay, so that actually, that's an interesting way of like using a game mechanic to signify that. I feel like it was introduced a little too late though. It'd have been cool to just discover that on my own, like naturally, organically. But yeah, like I feel like this could have been a really interesting opportunity to have the player stranded and completely, lost in the wilderness and overwhelmed, and have to use faith as an active way of getting of like finding shelter, right? So like I'm confused as to why they're not making me use my Witcher vision here to find a path or to like listen to the voice of the divine, unless there's some sort of meta narrative here about the like the yellow dot. It's supposed to represent divine guidance, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels very like non-diegetic. It feels like a meta sort of element, right? So I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity. The idea of, they might have looked for inspiration to the sequence in Uncharted 3 where Drake gets lost in the desert and is like going around in circles and hallucinating, and like taken the mechanics there and made it like a little bit more compelling. Oh shit. Is that the devil?
Why do you suffer so much?
Okay, this is Darth Magog. Is this a friend of yours? You, a member of your order, so to speak? Very interesting. Let's see. Darth Magog says, I absolutely think that's a possibility. Omni says, I don't think it would be possible historically. Like, there are multiple verses in the New Testament that establishes what the Jewish people considered canon at the time, and then we have just so many sources written by the early church fathers in the first few centuries of the religion, as well as council clearly establishing the canon only 300 years after Jesus lived. Okay, so, seems like it's kind of a set-in-stone thing. Magog says, I think that relies on a politician leadership's collective honesty for the canonicity to hold up. That, yeah, I can understand why there would be some disagreement about that potentially, but I don't know, I like the idea that there could still be more to discover. You know, like, what if we find another equivalent to the Dead Sea Scrolls or something like that, that just enhances our understanding and gives us new insight. I understand that would be controversial because that would, like, maybe force us to have to go back and look at some things in a different light, but it could be interesting. Darth Magog says, determining what's canon and what isn't is difficult inherently. Yeah, that makes sense. Darth Magog says, LMAO, I literally did an episode on this for Caleb and Sophia, on this dude here, like the creepy, like, dark wanderer. I've seen some of your Caleb and Sophia videos. I don't remember this one, though. I'll have to go back and check that out. Omni says, oh yeah, well, that's the whole point of the council, especially as a lot of churches were spanning new unauthorized texts whose origin couldn't be ascertained. Okay, that makes sense. Right, you obviously, like, want to look out for counterfeits, and you don't want somebody to introduce something that's, like, not legitimate into the, and confuse the whole dialogue. That's for sure. 1 second, I'm getting a text. I just want to make sure that I don't, I'm not being called on for work. I'm going to have to go back to work after the stream, but yeah, all good.
It doesn't matter, but I've heard that you are his son. If you are the son of God, tell these stones to become bread.
Okay. This sounds like a human. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. It is written.
But does God really want you to suffer this way? Aren't we all his beloved children? Do you not deserve some relief?
I mean, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Eat this bread, and your suffering will end.
If you hadn't said that in the most sinister, macabre way possible, I might be inclined to accept it. I don't know why he has a treble clef around his neck, but maybe that'll come up later. I will not put my father to the test. I will not put my father to the test. He guides me and will give me the strength to endure. Guide the light along the... What? You guide the light along the path to keep pace. Point the way with your cursor. I'm confused. Oh, I see. And I have to hit W. I'm out snaking the snake? I'm very confused. A. Okay. Oh, they gave me like a speed boost. Sort of. But now I'm falling behind. This is so weird. It's like right on me. No, go. Speed up. Did I lose? Okay. Oh, yeah. So, oh, there we go. Okay, get a little faith boost from the dove. Nice. They put in, like, the little wing flaps. That's cute. This feels like Operation, but with bumpers that you would get at a bowling alley. Go the other way. Okay. There we go. I made it. And got the little choir, too. So that... I feel like there's a little bit of a clash of imagery there, right? Where, like, we're trying to avoid the snake, but we're tracing the snake's body. That was a little weird. But nice to know that, like, the, obviously that was supposed to be Satan, right? with the association with the serpent and everything. Wait, hang on a second. This is a genuine question I have. So I thought that Satan was a fallen, like Lucifer was a fallen angel, and if that were the case, he would have had to have been cast out of heaven, and then be like hanging out for a while doing Lucifer things, and then. So did that happen before the Garden of Eden? Because then Satan shows up as a snake, right? It's literally Lucifer who takes on the form of a snake, and then like tempts Adam and Eve with the apple, or is that like a separate thing? I feel like I should know this. I feel like the general consensus is that it is the devil, right, who takes on the form of a snake, but that would mean that like Lucifer got kicked out of heaven before. Wow, okay. Rude.
We meet again, Jesus.
Before the main events of the what the fuck? Okay. That was cool. Brush your teeth, motherfucker.
Throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone.
Okay, you realize I'm not gonna do that just to humor you. Okay. Dr. Magog says, yes, forgeries that ended up in canon allegedly anyhow. The Catholic denomination says Omni includes a lot of extra Jewish texts, but I think those are mostly for what the historic context in between the Old and New Testament was. Okay, so I think that makes sense. I appreciate the clarification there. Forgeries that ended up in canon, allegedly anyhow. Omni says, yeah, even Luther was considering removing some things. I think there's a lot of academic discussion about it back and forth, but to me it mostly seems like speculation. Just intuitively to me, it feels like as long as you can screen out things being obvious forgeries, why not include all of the data and make it available to everybody so that they can read it and come to their own conclusions? I mean, I realize that might not be in the spirit of certain denominations, but still, I would be curious to know why. Like, at the very least, like, even if they are forgeries or thought to be forgeries, like, people should still know about them, right? To be able to be trained to recognize the forgeries. I feel like just excluding them, I guess I'm making an assumption there about whether or not they're being taught. I don't know. This is Satan. It appears to be your first boss battle, but no, Satan isn't cast out of heaven yet, canonically. Oh, interesting. It's two separate stories sometimes, but Lucifer could travel freely between heaven and earth like other angels for some reason. Oh, okay, gotcha. So he was just kind of a bad apple, pun intended, from the get-go, and he showed up to fuck with Adam and Eve, and then eventually later got cast out of heaven. This is what I mean by no fault damage. Jesus is canon. Oh, I thought you were joking before. No, you were serious. Okay, here we go. I didn't know that context. The fallen angel thing is actually not in the Bible, but from an apocryphal text, one of the Jewish texts that you should read for context to understand Jewish culture at the time. Oh, is that what is the name of that text? Would you be able to let me know? Because I would like to learn more about it. It's a case of maybe that is what happened, and canonically maybe not. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that context as well. So how do you guys feel about the design here of this character? Now, obviously, I don't know how he was depicted in the in these passages in the Bible itself. I know that there's obviously like an association between Satan and snakes, right? So I think the snake around the neck makes sense. I think although I'm not sure if it's deliberate that it's taking the form of what looks to me like a treble clef, like out of music notation. That's a little odd, but that could just be a coincidence. But yeah, I'm curious, like the writing on the armband over here, is that of any significance? Was Satan in the books, if he engaged with Jesus, did he actually take on the form of a man, and did he actually have like the two different eyes and like kind of a the mottled skin? Is any of this stuff from the Bible, or is this all just like creative interpretation, so to speak? Omni says, yeah, some priests will try to open of the possibility of the text academics are doubtful about maybe not being canonical. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm in favor of like open discussion and exchange, so that pleases me to sound pretentious. Darth Mako says, honestly, he looks scarier than the JW version. There isn't a visual description of him in most Bible translations, or at least not the ones I've read. Okay, yeah, I was curious about how much how much creative liberty they were giving themselves, so to speak. So that's helpful context. Thank you. And Omni says, at least in Denmark, Christian people like to take the academic approach in discussion. That is something that I appreciated. So, like, my partner that I mentioned previously was Jewish, and I attended a couple of sessions with her. I forget what the name of it is, but like we would go to a Saturday get together, and we would go over Bible passages, and we would talk about them and debate them and stuff like that. And they knew I was an atheist, and they were more than happy to have me there because they're like, yeah, we're just talking about stuff. We're just learning, right? And so, I appreciated that like I never felt like they were trying to convert me. They weren't even really trying to change my mind about anything. It wasn't like there were sermons, I guess you could call them. There were times where the rabbi would speak to the congregation and would impart lessons and give guidance. But the study group stuff that we did was always very. It's just like, yeah, we're hanging out. We have different beliefs. Some of us are here for cultural reasons, some of us for religious, some of us for both, some of us for neither, and we're just talking. So today we're going to talk about this. Let me know what you guys think, right? I really appreciated that. Like, I had some concerns about, my partner's beliefs and stuff, but that part of it I genuinely really appreciated. Omni said, I'm not sure if we get a description, but probably the form of men. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Do not put the Lord your God to the test. It is also written. Yeah, I mean, fair. Like, we don't owe this motherfucker anything. Dude, this is like the lowest form of bullying. Satan's showing up like, getting VC now, pussy.
After all, you have proof in the Holy Scripture.
He's just jealous that I'm dad's favorite now. I will not test my God, for my faith is unwavering. Unless you go off the path in the desert, I guess. My trust is in him, not in your temptations. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. This is such a weird mechanic. I kind of like it, but also it's like, not sure what the visual is meant to represent here. Like, you would figure that there would be like snakes chasing me and I would be finding my way out, as opposed to tracing the path of the snake. It's also kind of interesting that the snake itself is getting like desiccated as I move through it or something. Oh, so he teleported me to town and tried to like rage bait me into into unaliving myself, and then got mad and dumped me back in the desert. What an asshole. Oh, cool. There's like a big snake here. I love this. That's really cool. Oh, that's actually a really interesting technique that they're using to move the skin. So I see. The snake itself is not moving, but they're animating the texture on the skin so that it looks like it's moving, in order to give it like the illusion of like constantly slithering like endlessly. That's really cool. I really like that. I think the fact that you can see the tip of the tail, though, does kind of hurt the illusion a little bit. But yeah, I should run to the bathroom real quick. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll leave you here with our snake friend, and I'll be right back. Apologies. Okay, here we go. So yeah, as much as I might like laugh or scoff at some of the tech limitations of the game, you have to admit that there is some artistry and some creativity here. Like they're doing a pretty good job of finding techniques to try to bring some of the art to life, you know? Let's see. Oh, you gotta go. Oh yeah, have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for providing some context for the stories and everything. I really appreciate it. Good luck and safe travels. Let's see. Snake equals Satan is only confirmed overtly in the last book of the Bible. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's cool. Magog says, I think the depiction of a simple Satan simple Satan sounds like something you'd put in a drink. Simple Satan syrup works better as a foil to Jesus, who himself was not written as somebody visually remarkable. So having Satan look like a normal man fits the theme, IMO. That makes sense, yeah? Yeah, I think I did win the boss battle, although, it didn't feel very high stakes. I wonder, like, if I lost that minigame, would he have, like, pushed me off the roof or something? It's kind of dire. But I guess the immunity to fall damage has already been canonically established. So, honestly, like, Jesus could have just, like, styled on him and jumped off the roof because it's been proven diegetically that fall damage cannot hurt me. I've tested this thoroughly. So let's see. Maybe you're a fan of the Satan was the serpent narrative for the Garden of Eden. Yeah, I agree with that understanding. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's the version of the story that I've heard told most frequently, is that Satan is literally the snake. But you know, I'm definitely no expert. So let's continue following the snaky trail. Oh, that's interesting. There seemed to be some construction in the cave. I'm reminded of that section in Sekiro when you have to, like, go through the dark cave to get the dried serpent viscera or whatever. This is actually really cool. I like the way that they set this up. Mixing in the architecture with the natural rock formations. Yeah, this is cool. This is exactly what I was hoping for, right? Like, use the excess of video game storytelling to kind of enhance the supernatural elements. I don't know what's up with that. Is that a bug? That part of the snake is not animated the same way. I think some sound effects here could have been very useful, like to enhance the slithering of the snake. Ah, this is so cool. It sucks that this isn't animated, though. Oh, that sucks. But this whole thing feels like it's reminding me of some of the sequences from, like, fucking... Oh, dude, we should play those games. A Plague Tale. A Plague Tale is so good. We should play that on stream at some point. This is really cool. Really creepy. Yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping for. This sort of thing.
So, we meet again, Jesus. This time...
It's been 5 minutes, dude.
Power and glory of the world. Look, all these kingdoms of the world and their splendor I will give to you, if you fall down and worship me.
Away from me, Satan. For it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Yeah, I'm only got room for one deity, buddy. You're too late.
Yours, without suffering, without the cross. All it takes is one bow.
One bow? Excuse me. My kingdom is not of this world. I serve only my Father in heaven.
You reject the power and wealth of this world, but we shall return to this conversation.
My loyalty is only to God. I will worship no one but him. I mean, honestly, yeah, like, what?
Your obedience and faithfulness will bring salvation.
Okay, so we do actually have a demon fighting minigame. Fuck yeah, okay.
And the power that guides you.
Okay, hold to stun the demon, and then drag the demon into the portal. Banish all the demons to repel Satan. Okay, let's see. Stun. Okay, so I just have a ragdoll demon now. Oh, I gotta drag them into the portal over here. Okay, can I sprint? Stop laughing at me. This is normal. Everything's fine. Now, this is the real boss battle. Damn, I just fucking obliterated that guy. This is actually a cool sequence, though. This reminds me of something out of the like The Witcher 1, the Water Temple or whatever. Okay, I see. So now that he's stunned, now I can pick him up and move him. That screaming is actually kind of harrowing, not gonna lie.
He won this time.
Oh, jeez.
But this will not stop me. I will go everywhere in this land. I will go into every city, into every corner of them. I would take my power and spread my darkness everywhere. To
Real
all
missed opportunity for sound design here.
To every human, every soul. I will enter their bodies and put my diseases inside.
Ugh, gross.
I will boil their minds and put my demon servants inside them.
That's cool.
And then I will go to Jerusalem, to their capital, and will tempt all citizens with my darkness and sin.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is like,
they will stop Jesus and kill him.
If you permit me some liberty here with my phrasing, the mythology, the storytelling here is interesting. This could fit in like a fantasy epic, right?
You resisted the temptation and remained steadfast in your faith, emerging victorious.
I have the ability to exorcise people now. You can use fast travel to visit. Okay, so I did unlock like holy, like spirit travel. Press this to continue. Okay. So, but I don't have to. So let me see, how far away am I? Okay, pretty far, but also not too bad. See, I mean, like, this is the thing. As a player, I don't feel like I was really tempted with anything. So, if you're trying to tell a story of Jesus being tempted and him actually, like, making a choice, based on this narrative, it didn't seem like Jesus was tempted at all. Maybe that's aligned with the Bible, but, I mean, like, it didn't really seem, like, apart from the bread, right? Okay, so if Jesus is starving, the devil comes along and is like, or Satan, I should just say, Satan comes along and is like, hey, dude, you're starving, that sucks. If you eat this food, your suffering will stop. And then there's the idea of, like, hey, I guess Jesus was, like, aware that eventually he'd be crucified because Satan's like, hey, I can save you from the cross. So that makes sense. The other stuff in there, I'm not sure, like, Jesus, was he ever the sort of person who wanted a kingdom, that he wanted wealth and power and stuff like that? For that sort of temptation to be compelling, that would need to be something that appealed to Jesus in the first place. Otherwise, he'd just be like, yeah, bro, I'm not interested, you know? So, I guess if you want to try to get the player to empathize with the experience of temptation, give the player a resource or something like that that you become attached to, and then deprive you of that resource, and then have the devil Satan show up and be like, hey, I can help you out here if you're willing to sacrifice some things, right? Like, the idea of telling the story of Satan as being a trickster who takes advantage of your weakness and of your, like, lack of having access to the resources that you need, and tempting the player with that, and maybe even giving the player the option to make the wrong decision and give in to the temptation, and then having that be a teaching tool, I think that could be very powerful. But again, it's also like, well, is the goal here to just represent the story? Because if so, then, you know, there's only so much gamification that you can do with that before it starts to veer off course. I will say, though, that I think one of the more important and compelling and unique aspects of video gaming as a storytelling medium is specifically the ability to make you empathize with the character and to feel like you yourself are making decisions, not just seeing the character make the decisions. So, like, one of my favorite games in the recent decade-ish is a game called Lisa the Painful RPG, and there's a choice early on in the game where, like, it's a like RPG Maker style RPG, Think something like similar to Earthbound, right? And you have a party member that you start to depend on, and then you get a choice where you and your party member get abducted, and you can either choose to, like, one of you is going to lose something. Either your party member dies or your main character loses an arm. And there's no way that I'm aware of talking your way out of it. Like, I think there might be like a third option, but I'm pretty sure it's just those two things. So the game forces you into a situation where you have to choose: are you going to lose your party member, and uh, or are you going to lose your arm? And you might think, oh well, this is just a video game; it's not that big of a deal, whatever. So narratively, my character loses an arm, big deal. But no, that's something that then permanently affects your stats. It causes your character pain, and then that feeds into like a drug usage mechanic that you can choose to indulge in that has significant effects. It also like will like limit your abilities and your combat efficacy, and then further choices can continue getting your character into a worse and worse situation. So you have to make these genuine narrative dilemmas with narrative repercussions, but that also have a very distinct and like important effect on you as a player, where when you make these choices you're feeling like shit. Like there is no right choice here. Like everything I do I'm fucked, but like where am I going to draw the lines of what is acceptable? Like everything in the story is nominally for you to like get your daughter back, so kind of like The Last of Us, right? How much of what you do is justifiable in pursuit of that goal? And it's tough to grapple with. And I've played through like very different playthroughs of the game with different decisions, and they all feel pretty harrowing. And that was accomplished with just like some 8-bit graphics made with RPG Maker. Very, very simple thing, but it was so emotionally impactful. I wish they had found a way to incorporate something like that here. I recognize that it's still like an extreme challenge because you're constrained necessarily by the story, but I feel like that's what makes video games special. And if you're going to make a video game about this topic, why not try to use mechanics like that to really emphasize that? Hopefully that makes sense. Chris, I saw your message from before. Chris said the scenery composition is really good. Yeah, the visuals there and the whole like the sound design, like everything that went into creating that boss fight was actually pretty cool. Magog says that was a story I grew up on too, but it doesn't make much sense, specifically because God goes out of his way to curse all snake kind after that. Right, like the whole like you shall crawl on your belly for the rest of your days type thing. The final part of the boss battle, denying worship. Yeah, playing Ghostbusters for the next levels. I think it's now a permanent mechanic. We're gonna go and try this out, but I think now like we can actually go and exercise people. Magog says, I mean, canonically, Jesus and his apostles do spend their time exorcising demons and healing people in between journeys. I remember the healing, like healing the boils and the sores and stuff like that. I didn't realize that there was an actual like demonic exorcism thing that happened. But let's see. You unlock the miracle of exorcism after resisting Satan's temptation. Use it to help the possessed and gain followers. Find possessed people marked on the map. Okay. Select the exorcism and confirm the target. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we have a whole healing exorcism. Oh, wait a minute. So, so this over here is my exorcism ability. These are other abilities that are locked, but I can allocate followers to them to gain, like to enhance those abilities later or something like that. Okay. So they are actually trying to make this into like an actual video game. So I have the weapon wheel and everything. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I actually went into like a black and white mode because I had exorcism enabled. Can I actually see? Like, I want to try this out. So let's see. Roman occupation. Pharisee. Exorcism. Okay, let's go do the exorcism first. I want to see what that does. Sermon, scrolls. Okay. Well, that's cool. You can decide to, you know, invest in different things, like to focus on different things. I do feel like if you're gonna gamify things, giving the character different quests and ways to express like Jesus's powers is probably a good idea. So that makes sense. I do kind of like the idea of being like an exorcist and running around Galilee and just sort of helping people.
The prophet spoke of days like these.
Okay, let's see. Is it this guy with the boils or whatever? I thought he was just sick. Okay. Let's see. Exorcism. No, he does need healing. Okay, so that's a different guy. Okay, my bad. Let's go see. Over here.
The riverbank is a great...
Better not be the cow. Is it this guy? Oh yeah, he's definitely up to something.
Please, go away from me.
Alright. Cures individuals afflicted by demonic possession. Alright, let's do this. Do we get a minigame too?
Your obedience and faithfulness
yes.
will bring salvation to many.
Okay, so we're like in his mental scape now. Oh shit. Fuck. Damn, the portal's so far away. I do find like the creepy whispering in my ear to be kind of cool. The one thing I will say is just having the demons kind of be represented as just like dudes, where like normal dudes is a little off to me. But maybe that's actually accurate, I'm not sure. I don't know, like having some kind of enhanced design for them might make sense. Okay, there we go. Can I stun multiple ones at the same time? Oh, it's actually just going in for me. So if I get close to the portal, then it just makes my life easier. Dude, speedruns of this game are going to be crazy. I can't wait. Okay. That's kind of cool. I like the eye-opening visual effect there. But, is that it? I do really like the idea of like exorcising demons being like a domain expansion thing, like from JJK. Like you're going into their domain and then battling the demons in their realm, like under their curtain or whatever.
Thank you for saving me.
You don't look too happy about it.
Thank you for saving me.
Sure. Just don't hurt me. Well, okay, I think that might actually be a good place to wrap it up. If folks want to continue, we could do this again next week, but I think I kind of got what I was hoping to out of this. It is kind of nice to see that they are using a variety of like different mechanics. That, like I am kind of curious to see what happens when we start like healing and transforming and like resurrecting things. Like those mechanics could be quite interesting. I find the idea of just sort of like having a game where you use Jesus's powers as like an immersive sim, you know, like an open world game, and discover the story organically to be much more compelling than just following like the events of the story or whatever. But I will say, you know, like so far, more so than other like renditions of the Bible stories in media and stuff, like in other media like comics or like TV shows or whatever, I find this to be an interesting way and like a compelling enough way of familiarizing yourself with parts of the story at your own pace, while also having time to kind of just mess around and immerse yourself in what the world and the scenery and the setting was like. I think there's a certain amount of passion and care that was put into making this game that I respect. There's also a lot of stuff that feels like missed opportunities that could have been expanded on, especially with the sound design. There's a lot of things that feel like missing sounds. But, you know, there's also interesting stuff to learn and to experience.
My son. I'm so glad.
Hi, Joe. Thank you. I'm well after those days in the desert. Good to see you again. Who's experienced so much? Are you tired and need rest? I'm full of strength and ready for what lies ahead.
Case, you should
Join
join your
mother,
mother.
left for
There's
Cana.
a wedding there, and your presence will be important. If you hurry, you should make it in time for the celebration.
We'll go there immediately. Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's due to long distances, some journeys may take several minutes. Use skip travel to instantly reach your destination. Weird. So they have a skip travel and a fast travel. But you can only fast travel to places you've already been. It's a little confused. But yeah, it's okay. This game definitely wasn't like it's janky, right? It's rough around the edges. It's a small indie project, and so it's not very polished. But it doesn't feel like insincere. It doesn't feel overly pandering. I think that like there's enough care and craft that was put into this that I kind of respect what the developers like tried to bring to life. Um, and it is, I think, kind of a way of trying to bring people into a story that you might find valuable in a way that doesn't feel like overly simplistic or overly like preachy, pun intended. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I kind of understand why some people might vibe with this, and it was kind of fun to check out. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Demons aren't usually too interesting in biblical depictions. That's a shame. I wonder then like where the the popular imagery around demons comes from. Is that more like Dante's Inferno type stuff? I feel like I'm also picking up momentum by like bunny hopping like this. I wonder if there's like a speed running strat that I've uncovered here. Um, but yeah, thank you for joining me on this journey. A little bit of a shorter one this week, also because I have to go back to work once I'm done with the stream. Um, I think we're just gonna go back to Zelda next week, but I'm also excited to announce that I have purchased. So one of the games that I haven't played from software is Deracine. And I decided to pull the plug and just, or pull the trigger, whatever the expression is. Not pull the plug, pull the trigger. It's exactly the opposite of what I mean. And get myself I found a cheap PSVR headset on eBay that I got. So I think let's do Tears of the Kingdom next week so that we can do like the comparison with the Great Plateau. And then after that, we will check out some Deracine coming up. And then, yeah, maybe Plato would be really fun to do on stream because it's such an interesting story. And it's one of those games where, like, when I first heard about it, it was through one of Joseph Anderson's videos. And I'm like, I will never play this. The very concept of this, like, pisses me off in terms of it felt like a video game that really, really didn't want to be a video game. And I really hated that idea at the time. I don't know what changed my mind. I think I was sick and I like got it on sale and I was like checking it out of morbid curiosity or something. But man, I'm so glad I got over myself because those games, especially the second one, but both of them are hauntingly beautiful, really compelling stories, and I would love to share them with you guys on stream. So I think that will be coming down the pipeline. This Sunday, I will either be taking a break from Naruto stuff or I'll be doing one more stream on philosophy. Depends on how my schedule goes. But last stream we did a chat on like modal realism and philosophy somewhat and talked a little bit about morality and stuff. Ironically, we kind of spiraled into a general philosophy conversation. But it was sort of a conclusion, like a natural conclusion to our discussion of Hashirama and his strength and scaling and stuff like that. I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I've said what I wanted to say about my opinions on Sage's videos and his content and stuff. Obviously, if he makes a new video that I find compelling, I'll respond to that too. But I've kind of gotten to the point where like I said what I wanted to about my big topics of interest, namely like light speed, the data books and everything. And so I think I want to do one more stream where we talk about like general philosophy terms that might be useful for power scaling. But then going forward, hopefully I won't need to I'll be doing more just sort of chill hangout, reading chapters, fight analysis streams, and then focusing like a lot of the research and in-depth stuff on more of the scripted videos, like the databook handbook to the databooks or whatever. I also did reach out to Salad and Bolts for some help with some translations. Again, like highly recommend checking out Salads and Bolts' blog on Naruto translations if you're curious to just learn more about her perspective. She seems to have quite some expertise in terms of knowledge of the series and expertise of like translation training, if that makes sense. So I'll be happy to share that stuff whenever that is available. Also, wrapping up my intro arc for the channel that should be done this month as well. So I'm excited to share all that new stuff with you.
Keeper of the law and guardian of our heritage.
Oh, cool.
You can find me in Jerusalem, Bethlehem. Now, if you truly are as wise as they say, then face me.
Wait, hang on a second.
3 riddles drawn from the sacred scriptures.
Okay.
Just talk to me.
Sure, I'll try.
Fancy trying to crack a mental exercise inspired by ancient teachings?
Sure, why not? I'm gonna fail at this, I'm sure. What river did the Israelites cross to enter the Promised Land? I have no idea. It can't be the Jordan. I mean, I guess it could be. I feel like the Nile is... Gee, what? You're so intense, bro. I'm gonna guess Euphrates.
Not the right answer.
Okay.
What river did the Israelites cross to enter the Promised Land?
Oh, I don't fail. I can try again. That's generous.
Not the right answer.
Really? Okay, so it was the Jordan.
The Israelites crossed to enter the Promised.
It shows you how much I know. Okay.
Exactly.
Yep, first try. One take, John.
Fancy trying to crack. Which prophet was taken to heaven in a chariot of fire?
Ooh, I know this one. No, I don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, one take, John.
Curious to unravel.
Yeah,
Who
sure.
killed Goliath?
This one I know. It was definitely Samson.
That's right.
I silenced him with truth? Okay.
What I thought was wisdom now feels like dust. I step back, humbled.
I mean, I answered your quiz, dude. You knew the answers too. Feel like don't need to be adversarial. Hello.
They say nothing grows faster than a child when no one is looking.
Who and why do they say that? Okay. Yeah. Well, now that I've imparted some biblical wisdom, what better place to leave you than with some new knowledge on the fundamentals here. Yeah, I will look forward to seeing you guys this Sunday, I think, but if not, it'll be the next Thursday for Zelda and the Sunday after that for Naruto philosophy. Thank you. It's good to see you, Magog. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Chris, as well, Omni, and Sari, and anybody else who checked out the stream. Who am I forgetting? There was somebody else who stopped by, I think maybe for the first time. Want to make sure I say thank you. Oh yeah, to Lawrence. Lawrence, thank you for checking out the stream as well. Yeah, have a great night, everybody. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.